before you call him a man. Tell me that it's evolution. Well, you know.
You may leave here for 4 days in space.
Hello, and welcome back to Retro Rewind. Today we're heading back to the 1960s, a decade when music didn't just entertain, it challenged the world.
Something happening here. What it is.
These were the songs that sparked outrage, inspired movements, and sometimes even got banned.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess fine.
From spiritual ballads to fiery protest anthems, every track on this list pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on the airwaves. We'll explore 15 controversial songs that defined the 1960s by daring to defy it. One of them was so controversial, it even sparked an FBI investigation. Stick around to find out which one.
You never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure.
Number 1. God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, 1966.
And God only knows what I'd be without you.
When the Beach Boys released God Only Knows, it sounded angelic, but it shocked radio stations. Using the word God in a pop song was considered blasphemous.
And God only knows what I'd be without you.
Some US and UK broadcasters refused to play it, fearing backlash from conservative listeners, but for fans, it was breathtakingly honest. Brian Wilson's orchestral vision and Carl Wilson's tender vocals turned controversy into poetry. The song's spiritual intimacy helped redefine pop lyrics.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you.
Proving that vulnerability could be sacred, not scandalous. What began as a risk ended up being called one of the greatest love songs ever written. But if that song was controversial for its reverence, the next one got banned for being a little too human.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came.
Number 2. Brown-Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, 1967.
A brown-eyed girl.
It's hard to imagine Van Morrison's Brown-Eyed Girl as anything but wholesome, but 1967 censors thought otherwise. The line, "Making love in the green grass," was too risque for radio.
Laughing and running, hey, scupping and jumping in the...
Forcing DJs to play an edited version that replaced it with "Laughin' and a Runnin'." Despite the cuts, the song became Morrison's breakthrough hit, proving that even sanitized love could cause a stir. Ironically, the attempt to hide its passion made fans even more curious. The real uncut version spread quietly on jukeboxes, a teenage rebellion wrapped in a melody. Of course, some controversies didn't hide in love songs. They came cloaked in Technicolor dreams and rumors of psychedelics. Number 3. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, 1967. When Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds hit airwaves, the world swore it stood for LSD. The Beatles denied it, saying John Lennon's son drew a picture of his classmate Lucy with stars around her. But the rumor stuck, and the BBC promptly banned the song for drug references. The surreal lyrics, kaleidoscopic imagery, and floating rhythms made it easy to believe otherwise. Whether it was about a child's imagination or a trip gone cosmic, it cemented the Beatles' image as rule breakers. Lennon maintained his innocence, but fans didn't care. The mystery only made it bigger. And speaking of trips, our next song took a fairy tale and turned it into an acid-soaked warning to parents everywhere.
One pill makes you larger.
Number 4. White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, 1967.
And one pill makes you small.
Grace Slick's White Rabbit used Lewis Carroll's world to make a pointed statement. The same parents reading stories about magical mushrooms to their kids were now shocked those kids tried real ones. "Feed your head," she sang.
when she's 10 feet tall.
And every radio programmer knew what that meant. The song's slow, building march mimicked the feeling of a drug high exploding into a psychedelic crescendo that became an anthem for the counterculture. Banned on AM radio, but adored on FM, White Rabbit blurred the line between rebellion and art.
And the ones that mother gives you.
Proving suggestion could be louder than confession. From Alice's Wonderland to Rock's Wild Side, the next controversy came with a riff so bold it practically snarled at authority. Number 5. I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, 1965. When Mick Jagger growled about frustration on Satisfaction, he wasn't just talking about consumerism. He was talking about sex. And that's exactly what terrified radio programmers. Ed Sullivan forced the Stones to change trying to make Some Girl before they could perform it live. But rebellion sells. The ban only fueled the fire, and within weeks it hit number 1. Parents heard danger, teens heard freedom. Jagger's sneer became the sound of teenage defiance. Overnight, the Rolling Stones went from Beatles rivals to rock's official bad boys. If this was rebellion through desire, the next track turned that same fury into a literal call to arms, one that cities feared might spark riots. Number 6. Street Fighting Man by the Rolling Stones, 1968. In 1968, protests erupted from Paris to Chicago, and the Rolling Stones captured that fury in Street Fighting Man. Mick Jagger sang about revolution, but his tone was uncertain. Sleepy London town versus burning streets abroad. That ambiguity scared censors even more than anger would have. Chicago radio stations banned it immediately, fearing it would incite riots during the Democratic Convention. But young listeners understood the tension perfectly. The desire for change against the fear of chaos. It was the sound of rebellion simmering beneath civilization's thin veneer. And just when you thought the Stones couldn't stir more outrage, their next hit took things to an entirely different kind of hell. Number 7. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, 1968.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Please allow me to introduce myself. With that line, the Stones ignited one of rock's most infamous controversies. Sung from Satan's point of view, Sympathy for the Devil referenced everything from the crucifixion to the Kennedys' assassinations. Religious groups went ballistic, accusing the band of glorifying evil. During a live TV taping, the studio caught fire mid-performance, fueling rumors of a curse. Jagger insisted it was about humanity's capacity for cruelty, not devil worship. But the nuance was lost in the flames. The song made the Stones' danger myth eternal, and the outrage priceless. The late 60s weren't just battling demons, they were battling themselves, and one song captured that dread perfectly.
The Eastern world, it is exploding.
Number 8. Eve of Destruction by Barry McGuire, 1965.
Tell me over and over and over.
Barry McGuire's gravel-voiced warning shook America. Written by P.F. Sloan, Eve of Destruction
You don't believe.
listed every nightmare of the mid-60s: nuclear war, Selma, Vietnam, hypocrisy. The song was so blunt that most record labels refused to release it. One demo slipped out and became a number 1 hit anyway. Radio stations called it unpatriotic and communist. Politicians condemned it. Even fellow folk singers thought it was too negative. But teenagers and soldiers recognized the truth.
You may leave here for 4 days in space.
It was the first time pop music looked directly into the apocalypse and sang it like tomorrow was already gone. But not all protest songs shouted in anger. some whispered truths so clear that silence felt like complicity. Oh, by the way, I will be posting more videos like this, so please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive from Retro Rewind. Okay, on to the next.
Something happening here.
Number 9. For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield, 1967.
They're telling me I got to beware.
Stephen Stills wrote, "For what it's worth, after witnessing police crack down on young people protesting a curfew on the Sunset Strip. With its haunting 'Stop, children, what's that sound?' refrain, it captured the paranoia of a generation realizing that authority wasn't always on their side."
Stop, children, what's that sound?
Though vague, its mood said everything. It wasn't about one protest, it was about every protest. Some stations called it inflammatory and banned it. Others made it a daily anthem. It became the sound of cautious defiance, warning that sometimes peace feels just as tense as war. Are you enjoying this video? If you are, please hit the like button. It's free and really helps the channel grow.
Give me an F! Give me a U!
Number 10. I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag by Country Joe and the Fish, 1967.
Give me a C! Give me a K!
Country Joe McDonald turned anti-war outrage into satire. His I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die rag mocked generals, politicians, and even parents for sending young men to Vietnam. Its jaunty melody made the message sting even more, especially when he led 500,000 Woodstock fans in singing it. Radio stations refused to play it, but the song spread through college campuses and protests. It made the unthinkable, war profiteering, sound ridiculous. McDonald wasn't subtle, and he didn't care. For those who felt ignored by the government, this song wasn't entertainment. It was solidarity.
Well, I ain't no time to wonder why.
Remember that FBI investigation we mentioned earlier? It wasn't about politics, it was about a rock song with lyrics no one could even understand. We'll get to that one soon. But first, while protest songs questioned authority, one man sang about sweeping away the old world entirely and dared listeners to keep up. Number 11. The Times They Are a-Changin' by Bob Dylan, 1964. Dylan wrote this as a wake-up call to everyone from senators to suburban parents. Released at the height of civil rights marches and Vietnam tensions, it wasn't subtle. Your old road is rapidly aging. Conservatives called him a troublemaker. Students called him a prophet. Radio stations that played it got angry phone calls, but Dylan didn't flinch. It was folk with teeth, a rallying cry disguised as poetry. For an America clinging to its traditions, his message was clear. Adapt or be left behind. And if Dylan's warning stirred debate, James Brown's next declaration made polite discussion impossible. Number 12. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown, 1968. When James Brown released this anthem just months after Dr. King's assassination, it wasn't a song, it was a declaration.
One more time. Say it loud.
Radio stations that once adored Brown suddenly panicked, calling it divisive. But young Black Americans heard freedom in every beat. The children chanting "Say It Loud" on the chorus turned protest into pride. Some white audiences recoiled, others listened and learned. For Brown, it wasn't about anger, it was about ownership. He wasn't asking for equality anymore, he was claiming it. The next track asked a question no one could comfortably answer. How do you start a revolution without burning down the world? Number 13, Revolution by the Beatles, 1968. By 1968, the streets were erupting, and even the Beatles couldn't stay neutral. Lennon wrote Revolution as both a call for change and a warning against violence. Two versions existed, one cautious, one chaotic. Both managed to anger everyone. The left called him a coward, conservatives called him dangerous. Lennon explained he wanted progress, not bloodshed, but nuance rarely survives protest. The Beatles proved even peace anthems could divide the peace movement itself. When John screamed, "Count me out," it wasn't surrender, it was sanity. But before Lennon's doubts, another Dylan question had already echoed through marches, pulpits, and living rooms alike.
Before you call him a man.
Number 14, Blowin' in the Wind by Bob Dylan, 1963.
Is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing.
At just 22, Dylan asked questions America didn't want to hear. How many roads must a man walk down? He never said civil rights.
How many years must a mountain exist?
Yet the meaning was unmistakable. Southern radio stations banned it instantly. Activists sang it louder. The Peter, Paul, and Mary cover hit number 2, spreading the message to living rooms across America. Dylan never provided answers. That was the point. In a decade of denial, silence was the most dangerous response of all. And as the decade closed, one final song captured all the anger, exhaustion, and injustice the 1960s left behind. Number 15, Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival, 1969. John Fogerty's rage was simple and sharp. Rich kids stayed home, poor kids went to war. Fortunate Son named no one, yet everyone knew who he meant. Radio stations tried to bury it in late-night slots, afraid of offending power. It didn't work. Soldiers sang it in barracks, students blasted it at protests. It became the class war anthem of the Vietnam era. Fogerty said everything in 2.5 furious minutes. No chorus, no sugarcoat, just truth. Decades later, its anger still feels earned. From God Only Knows to Fortunate Son, these songs didn't just define the 1960s, they dared the decade to define itself. They were banned, condemned, and feared, yet they survived longer than the outrage that tried to silence them. Together, they proved music could question authority, spark movements, and even shake governments. Which song from this list still hits hardest for you? Comment below, hit like and subscribe to Retro Rewind for more deep dives into the songs that changed history.
If I leave you tomorrow. When you're on the street, you got to be able to pick out the easy meat.